I'll go there. F. I won't lie. Who was it? Adrian getting the entire monster manual in, basically. It's really nice. Makes life a lot easier, but man,
I believe it. There's like over 150 monsters, isn't there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there is. There's a lot of them.
Quite a bit more.
Excuse me,
And,
creatures.
Yeah. Yeah, but I will say right now, like, man, it helps. It really does. And then you go there. Okay. And that goes there. Okay. Cool. Everything laid out properly. So, you guys landed it, well, in quotes, landed.
Well, any landing is a crash you walk away from, right?
Yeah. You guys walked away from it, if only barely, in Dragon's Mouth, in the elemental plane of air. You didn't manage to kill anyone on the road. They all got out of the way, and you didn't really take out any buildings. There's some minor damage. However, the ship has sustained a lot of damage. It is hurting pretty bad. The spine of the ship, well, it's not broken, certainly damaged quite a bit as well. It's going to take, I mean, if you wanted to just rebuild it, you need the proper facilities. And from seeing it, the docks that are normally attached to Dragon's Mouth, right, where the fleet usually sits, capable of holding 100 ships easily, is not there. The docks are gone. It seems like you can see some of like the remnants of where the docks were attached, but they're just broken off and everything. Seems like they weren't really meant to either move with the city or move at the speed that the city had to move to get to Vilwyn in time. So, you are now, for the purposes of this, outside of the wreck of your ship, in the center of the city of Dragonsmouth. There are less people. In fact, the other thing that's interesting is, well, there are Marines around. Not nearly as many as you remember. They seem to be, the city seems to not have as much in the way of defenses right now, and you don't see the fleet other than the 10 ships that you saw before and a few others that have been landed inside the city and are being worked on. But, I mean, it's shoddy work, right? It's not really anything major. It's just little bits and pieces trying to, like, patch up some holes or whatever. The ship's look in pretty dire condition other than the 10 that that essentially nuked the Wyvern as it came through the portal. So, that is your situation. What would you like to do?
Let's head to the castle or the palace.
I mean, it's right up the street, sure.
She's,
that was fun.
Is she still with us?
Saria? No,
Yeah.
she teleported out.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay. Oh yeah, that is right. Yeah.
she bounced
She
before I
took-
said I could revive her. I just
Yep.
need a little bit of time.
She took Lady Ortis. She is, as far as you know, Saria is currently still on the elemental, or the material plane.
All right.
Meanwhile, mind you, the portal to the material plane sealed up behind you. And you are currently just, I mean, looking around, it's just blue sky everywhere. You don't even really see any clouds here. The wind is actually kind of pleasant, but the sunlight beating down on you guys is almost oppressive in a way. The thing is that there's no sun, exactly. So it's kind of odd.
Who's got the tablet?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gad
Yeah,
has the
let's
tablet.
take that to the castle.
Okay. So you guys all sort of gather your wits about you, considering the craziness of just the last say day or two.
I take the hypothetical remote lock and go doot doot as we walk away from the ship.
Okay. Trying to lock the crystals down. Okay.
No,
So
not really. I don't do that.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say one of the things that is kind of interesting is the rear crystal,
It's still on.
because uh, the opal underneath, right, that normally regulates how much energy, I guess you could say, is being pushed out of it, is damaged. Like the rear end of the ship is like up in the air.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like not super far up, but like it's off the ground. Like normally the rear end of the ship is like the heavier part, right? So you would kind of expect it to be sitting midships or like towards the aft part of the ship. But it's actually pushed up, so like the bow is driven into the ground a little bit. It's not taking off or anything on you, but it is definitely like you can definitely tell like it's active still.
Is the weight like all settled down as far as like I don't know if we like land on a building or anything, or is it just in the street?
No, it's in the middle of the street. That was the result of that nat 20.
Okay.
It hit the center of the street. Didn't really take out any buildings, and well, it did do more damage to like the underside of the ship as it sort of skidded along the street. It didn't hurt anybody. It was the best result considering the situation. So it didn't do any further damage to it because Ta, considering your history with these ships and stuff and learning a bit, you get the idea that if this ship had broken in half, the rear end would have flown off into the great beyond.
Well, if it is settled, I'll probably at least try and like set it down and shut off the crystals, not lock them, but just like shut them down.
Right.
I don't want to do anything
The
weird since it's damaged.
The front two turn off no problem. Just
Yeah.
sort of following the regular thing. The rear one unfortunately does not.
Right.
Okay. But at this point, you've got townsfolk sort of gathering around. The local, not really police, but like firemen, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
That sort of group has sort of gathered around, and one of the shipwrights that you may recognize from way back when sort of looks it over and says, "Okay, we need a group of people. We need to move this thing. We can't leave it blocking up the streets." And turns towards you, seeing you guys clamoring out of the ship, basically, and says, "Is this yours?" Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't know
Why
where
is
it
it in the middle of the street again?
Can you see how it looks right now?
Yes, I can, but I don't know how it got that way.
That would be from wyverns, among other things. Well, actually, I think it was just wyverns, actually.
Wyverns and some really, really scary black angel thing.
Lots of wyverns. Oh, yeah, actually, it was lightning, mostly, from a person,
Yep.
but also wyverns.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna move it if we can. And he sort of points over in this general direction, and you kind of know that that's where there's some farmland and stuff, some actual like open space that they could use. And on your way in, looking around, you would have seen like a few other ships being worked on over there. And he says, "We're gonna try to move it over there if that's cool with you, because it's in the middle of the road."
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. Do you have any injured? Are you guys all right?
I don't think we have any
Yeah, we're
injured.
fine.
You're
on
the most
board
hurt out of
anymore.
all of us. I still have 88.
Well, yeah, I'm
Ta
fine
was
now,
the
though.
one that got the shit kicked out of him.
Fucking
Pardon
wrecked. No, I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Well, I say fine. I will live inside of the city. Okay. If we were out in the wild, I'd say
Assuming-
fucking heal me, but
but you guys are in Dragon's Mouth at least.
I could sleep it off like a bad hangover.
Yeah, a real bad hangover. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm assuming that if your ship is here in this condition, you had a pretty important reason for coming here. So
Yeah, we need to go take
Get
care of
on-
that.
get on with it. But yeah, your ship is we're gonna try to move it over here somewhere.
All right.
Uh,
Not bad, not bad.
yeah.
It might not be too bad.
Everybody's rerolling their stats now. Damn.
Yeah,
That's not
That's
bad.
a nice set. That's a very nice set. I mean, you got to take the 7 and drop the 12, but still,
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm definitely
Yeah.
okay with that.
that's pretty good.
Time to roll
Anyway.
7 intelligence character.
So, like, bonk. It's not Snarl. Snarl's a 4.
yeah. Yeah, isn't Bonk like 6?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more character called Stick.
Well. Yeah, you'd have to watch the Tuesday games to understand anything that we just said. But, Bonk's no longer playing, which sucks. Because Bonk was an amazing character.
Did he die or did it just life?
No, Matt, the player, had to life got in the way, and
Oh.
he's gonna stop for a while, at least. Hoping he'll come back for whatever our final fight tends to be, riding his giant abyssal elephant, because that's actually a thing.
Yeah.
With his army of
I get
skeletons.
one of those.
Yes, with his army of zombies. Okay, so you guys head up the street, and you can see sort of like a whole bunch of Dragonborn and humans. Sort of, you recognize, it's in city sort of uniforms, right? For firemen and the like, and a lot of townsfolk as well are just sort of helping, trying to find pieces of random pieces of your ship that have sort of strewn across the road, collect them and bring them into a localized spot. Meanwhile, you can see the shipwright is like directing people to go and find some timbers and stuff to try to like lift the ship up on some sort of apparatus to actually like wheel it out of here. So that's what they're doing. Meanwhile, as you go down the road towards the palace, you notice actually, yeah, I mean, you guys are familiar with battle in general enough. You notice signs of struggles everywhere. There is still blood on the streets here and there. Ta, you would be the most familiar with this, but I think Lucian might notice this as well. You see every so often you'll see, just blood spurts and all that stuff, but you also see embedded in some of like these old brick buildings, like in the mortar, daggers and swords that look somewhat familiar. They're not dragonborn or dragon's mouth type weaponry. It's very much Yuan-Ti. So do with that what you will. But as you head up towards the palace, you again see, sort of the staircase that rotates around, kind of circular around the raised area towards the courtyard that you guys have visited so many times. There are guards stationed outside, almost Buckingham Palace style. I mean, it's just a ring of guards of Marines in a circle around the place. It looks like it's, they're doing their best to defend the palace pretty well right now. You also see, although there aren't as many, Marines walking around in uniform like you would have normally seen in the city, just sort of, going about their day. There are, 4-man patrols scouting the city, and you'll pass 2 or 3 of those patrols who are looking around, very carefully for anything else or anything in particular that may cause harm to the city. So there's less of them, but they seem way more organized right now.
That's the real test of how today's gonna go.
Middling, a little bit better than average, so
About
not
average.
that bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So as you come up to the guards, they immediately, 3 or 4 of them sort of step out and halt you. Immediately,
Honey, we're home.
they sort of look over all of you. What is your business here?
We have a very important artifact which we need to bring in to have, I suppose, stored somewhere in a vault or something.
Who are you? Like you get the idea that this person has no idea who you are, despite your frequent visits.
Right.
Must be new.
Center my breath. Fucking new guys.
We're
I mean,
we're the Nameless is what we call ourselves, and we most recently met with the king, and I'm sure he's probably busy. So if we could meet with one of his advisors,
I'll ask in Draconic. Is Sid around?
You get at the name Sid, right? And this talk of meeting with the king and all that. His eyes kind of, at first, like meeting with a king, his eyes sort of narrow, like, yeah, the fuck right, like whatever. And then when you say Sid, his eyes kind of widen a little bit, and he says, "Wait here." And he directs another messenger or another guard as a messenger, sort of a kind of a thin, wiry dragonborn. I mean, as wiry as they get, they're usually pretty well built. To head off, and he speaks in Draconic, so those that actually know Draconic would understand it. But he basically just tells them, go find out who these people are and if Sid knows them or anything like that. And so that he runs off immediately to fetch somebody who knows what the fuck's going on, because you get the idea that, like,
You don't know shit.
he doesn't know anything. He's doing his job, and a lot of the people surrounding the palace right now look really young for Dragonborn. Like, this guy's probably straight out of basics sort of thing and thrown into this crazy situation. But yeah, so the other Dragonborn runs off, and the one that was initially talking to you turns back to you and says, "I'm sorry, until I hear something back, I'll have to have you wait outside of the perimeter."
I'll just turn towards Todd and ignore him and just say, "You'd think we'd be a little bit better well known after helping Sid make those explosive bolts."
Well, we didn't really advertise that we were doing that. That was kind of just a
Still.
us with Sid thing.
But they're so well made.
Know that Sid was any kind of higher up in the city, because that's who is that who you asked for? Because you just mentioned Sid, so
Yeah.
okay, but yeah, that's like he just walked off after he heard Sid, I guess, which I didn't expect. Otherwise, I would have said that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you would probably know this. Sid isn't like a noble or anything like that, but like he's the equivalent of a well-known scientist, right?
Okay.
He's got a lot of clout within the academic circles and within the military circles in a way. But like he wouldn't be well known outside of like the military or the academics. He's not like Stephen Hawking necessarily, but he'd be something similar to maybe Darwin in his day, right? Where the people that, I'm trying to think, or I mean, weirdly, he's kind of like Schema, right? Because like everybody who actually plays voxel space games knows who Schema is, but like if you're anywhere outside of that and you say Schema, people just look at you blankly as fuck. That's the
Like
situation.
Destin from
mine.
Smarter Every Day.
Yeah. Like him. If you're not part of that community, or you wouldn't know who that person is. A few minutes go by, and you can see like a lot of these Marines are just sort of eyeing you carefully, like not necessarily thinking you're a threat anymore necessarily, but like still doing their jobs. The messenger sort of runs back, and it has a young female dragonborn in tow. You guys would actually recognize her.
Is it the librarian?
No, it's Princess Mira. Immediately, you see all of the Dragonborn Marines just snap to attention. And she sort of steps up and says, "Sorry, I said you'd be coming. Follow me.
All right.
Let's
Is
get
that
you out of here."
is that guard back?
Yes.
I'm just gonna point to her and point to us, and then just like, "Yep, that's right," and then walk off.
They're recognized, fool.
Well, now he knows, I guess, but he was doing his job, so it can be commended to a certain extent. But yes.
Your Highness.
Yeah, I doesn't give a fuck.
That's true. So you guys walk past the perimeter and back up towards the Royal Library, which is, as you sort of walk up the courtyard, you can see there are further blood spatters across, the stairs and everything. It looks like this is recent. None of it's what I would call, or none of it is still wet or anything, but like nobody's been able to clean this up yet. Like that's how recent it is. Meanwhile, as you guys come into the library, you see books off shelves everywhere. You see the librarian frantically just trying to put stuff away because there was some kind of scuffle in here, you can tell. And there are books and papers and everything just strewn all over the place, which must have happened in the ensuing tussle. And Mira looks to you and says, "All right, my understanding is you brought something."
I'll
Yeah.
detach the box from the side of my chest and show it to
Oh,
her.
It was
right,
just
you did
on your
that, didn't you?
chest. What the fuck?
I have it tucked away, like under my arm, like on the side of my rib cage where it would be.
Alright. I'll say, yeah, we have
That's
a
not creepy.
tablet from the material plane. Something that is
Interesting.
supposedly a very powerful thing. I guess we did some research into it, as I kind of
Yeah,
explained
sorry it did.
what we learned
Well,
from it.
while you guys were flying, you would know that it is a tablet of divinity. Essentially, it's a spark of divinity in a tablet
Mm.
form.
Yeah,
And
so I'll explain that.
yeah,
Did
it
feel
can
spark.
not quite no, but it can create. It's basically a distillation and a ritual, or rather, the outline of a ritual and the primary component of a ritual to create a god. So
I volunteer.
no. Well, I mean, you can try. There are other people that you first though. And-
Evolution as a god. That would be bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be funny.
Oh yeah.
Taz the god would be hilarious.
Yes.
Dr. fucking Groomish.
And low.
It'd be like fucking it'd be kind of like Infinity War. Just fucking snap the fingers and all the orcs are fucking dead.
Well, I mean, you'd still have to deal with Groomish first because he'd
Eh.
That's fine. He's an orc too. Sort of. Kind of. whatever. He
yeah, but
created
like
dragons.
no one god can
have all that
take out
power.
another god without actually like working at it.
I'm down.
Yeah, I know. It'd be interesting. But
We can all be gods.
well, no. Yeah.
Should be God
You could be
blameless.
4 pieces of a god, I guess.
I'll be the right arm of Exodia.
and then become
not fucking
a
Voltron.
Voltron god.
Jesus.
Let's do it.
Let's start the
Oh.
mech campaign.
Oh no. That'd be.
That would.
Oh, I don't even know.
Megazord.
Suddenly, Gad
It's morphin'
expands
time.
10 feet tall.
And we
Get
jump
in if you
inside.
want to live.
No. That'd be terrifying.
Oh,
It'd
man.
It'd be like Titanfall at that point, where it's like
Yeah.
kind of sentient, but then like just somebody rides inside of there too.
Yeah.
First
that'd be
directive.
Interesting.
You could be controlled by a gnome or something. Oh, you could probably be controlled by a gnome now.
I mean, yeah. That's fair.
There's like a secret button hidden on Gad somewhere where you can push it, his chest opens up.
And there's a cockpit in the
Yeah.
center. There's been a gnome driving it the whole time. It has a magical voice changer and everything.
That would be awesome.
And he
that
has
would
the
be
most
kinda cool
ridiculous
twist.
name.
Oh boy.
You need to do that.
Oh.
Well, you
Yeah.
could do it with an artificer. I think you could probably get away with it.
Oh my.
I mean, I think it's kind of already like it would be a very minor homebrew
It would.
to do it with an artificer, really.
That'd be the
yeah.
greatest plot twist of all time.
So I may know what my next character is on my Tuesday games if my guy ever dies.
Which is entirely possible.
Yeah, Kellum is not someone who actually like gives a shit about himself living or dying, and tends to get into bad situations. Anyway, so so you produce the tablet. Mira doesn't even really look at it, honestly. She just sort of looks at all of you, and this is what Saria sent you with.
Yep, said it was imperative that we get that off the material plane, so we did just that.
Very well. I will I'll lock it in her vault. Or at least as far in as I can get into her vault. She's pretty clever with tricks, traps, and the other things, which is probably for the best. However, what is it that you are looking to do at this point? And can you tell me what happened out there? We were a bit wrapped up in our own issues, I suppose.
Well,
Wyverns.
The Soul Siri are back.
Ass raped by a black dragon.
the material plane is basically screwed.
Yep, they brought back Chorgus, Lord of the Black.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So there's at least 3 Solcri, whatever, working together. Well, I'm sure they're all working together, but that we've seen together in person.
Yeah. Well, you've seen 3 working together once before. Technically.
Was that demon thing one of them?
Yeah, you mean Butthole Face?
Yes.
Yeah, that. Okay. And we
Oh
killed
yeah,
that.
you guys. That was the crystal you captured. Well, you lost the other 2
Yeah.
to Solenaman and the dealer. Of course, it was Solenaman, the dealer, that you lost, unfortunately. And it really was it just happened that way. So
Yeah, you tried to help us so bad. I remember those rolls.
yeah. That being said, the Thorn Whip was just amazing.
Yep.
It made me so happy.
How many times did he cast that? No, it's
That was
it's
like
once cast
6
and he just kept
times.
using it.
It was like he did it like 6 times until he finally missed. It was great.
And every time we'd go and hit him.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Mira sort of looks to all of you and says, "Very well. Well, we've had I'm not sure how it happened, but a large force of Yonti and Drow attacked the city. We had to immediately leave as they were streaming up the mountain.
How did they get up to the island?
I'm
Didn't
not
they
sure.
have chains?
Well, the island, so the mountain itself is connected. Like, so the flipped over part of the mountain, right? The top that's flipped upside down, that this is built on, was connected by a large stone bridge to the mountain itself.
Oh, okay.
And you know, in her recitation of what happened, or at least as far as she understands it, a lot of Yonti came in disguised initially, and then the rest ran in as, you know, as a fighting force. And as soon as they could, they broke the bridge and flew off. But that caused the docks to be ripped off as well, and they're kind of in a sorry state. They, as far as they know, they held off everything. Everything seems okay for the moment. But, you know, they're in a little bit of dire straits at the moment. So,
Sweeping a city this large with detect good and evil would take quite a while.
Yes. We do have several clerics and paladins helping with many in Lady Ordis's order are doing exactly that. We also have many patrols out there just checking. And many of Arcanus Atris's underlings are using their detect magic skills and other various forms of magical detection to try to weed out any stragglers. But we've taken quite a bit of losses. Not to mention, most of our ships are still on the material plane somewhere. We've lost contact as we changed planes, but, well, we're not entirely sure what we're going to do, but we don't have the facilities to rebuild any of the ships that we even have right now. I'm
Well,
not
that's
entirely-
unfortunate.
Yeah, she doesn't really know about your ship at the moment, by the
Yeah.
way.
That's unfortunate.
But we're working. We have knowledge of an island that was the island that originally gave us the technology to make these airships. And, well,
Well, let's go.
in a
Ah.
while, we may be able to send out a team to speak with them, but for the moment, we're a little wrapped up here.
Yeah, we're kind of grounded at the moment because our airship took quite a bit of damage getting us here.
We're probably missing about 40% of our ship.
That might be right.
It
Or a bit more.
it flew? Like, you just sort of get like this look on Mira's face, like you were missing 40% of your ship and the thing actually flew?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
technically.
Yeah, up until the
Barely.
crystal started getting hit, and then we had more issues. But
Interesting.
We're just that good.
Well, when did you last see Saria? I worry for mine. Well, she's more my
Uh,
sister than my cousin.
about 30 seconds before we went through the portal to here.
Oh,
Lady Ordis fell in battle on her way here. I handed her the body and she teleported away before I could say that I could bring her back. I would just need a little bit of time.
that's fortunate. Well, she's resourceful, and in a city that is, as far as I know, still controlled by, I suppose, the good guys, for lack of a better term at this point, considering all of the bad guys that seem to have shown up. She should be fine, right?
Well, she can teleport, so probably.
Do
That's a
you
good point.
have anything you would like to tell her? I still have the ability to send.
Does that work across planes?
Yep, one more sending spell. It has a 5% chance of failing across planes.
Okay. Uh, she sort of thinks for a moment and then says, "How about, in her absence, she's not here. We need some kind of plan of action. There's no way I can be selfish enough to just send a message with no help, with no advice, with no direction that we're heading, so that she can make plans. I suppose we need to figure out what it is that our next move is. And considering how much help you've been, I'd be interested to know what your next move is. Perhaps we can help each other in general."
Well, I guess we're kind of figuring that out. We need to have our airship fixed somehow, and from there, we need to either raise an army or accrue power so we can go and try and free the material plane. Sounds easy, right?
Right, yes, easy. Well, I would say it's simple, because in a sense, it's very simple, but not easy. And I'm sure it's not going to be simple.
As long as it doesn't send us back into the Feywild. We never should have gone.
We
Come
never
on.
should.
It was our only option. We're not having that
We should
argument
have
right now.
never gone to the Feywild.
But it was fun.
I was fine. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Maybe that should be the name of the episode, the last episode.
Well,
really.
it's already been changed.
I know. Well, I'm not really the book type, to be honest. Sorry, I was much better at that, but let me see if I can find any old charts, and that sort of thing, and perhaps you can help. All of my Marines are tied up here. We have the insurrection or attack to still deal with, and until we know that this city is completely secured again, I can't in good conscience leave our lessened forces to go and do other projects. However, if you'd be willing to maybe attempt to form an agreement on our behalf with the island, I believe it was called Haida, that you know at least has a shipyard on it. It's where we learned to do all this. I don't know that it's capable of taking on the entire Dragon's Mouth fleet, but at least they have the facilities and the equipment there to maybe start rebuilding ships. Perhaps that's the way to go. I leave it in your hands if that's something you wish to do. However, for the moment, we've been here for a day. Well, 2, technically. The sun will set soon, and it happens very quickly, so do be careful. It gets dark very quickly here in the elemental plane of air.
How close is this island?
That's what I'm not sure of, honestly.
Right.
That's why I'll see if I can't find charts and the like, but it seems you've had quite the ordeal.
Yeah.
I suppose if you'd like, the palace is being, I suppose you could say, cleaned and checked. We're not accepting guests here, but there is a tavern, or an inn rather, in town that perhaps will have some room. We can easily pay your stay for bringing this to us. Greatly appreciated. And we can reconvene in mid-morning or so, once I have all the requisite documents.
Sure, that sounds like a plan.
Your Highness, did you have any good fortune on your search for the Moonriser?
I'm not sure. The fact is, there were many distinguished individuals during this attack. I believe perhaps the Moonriser is within those people's ranks, but I don't know. I have not yet been able to find him. I hold out hope, though.
That's the only thing many have now.
It's what we must cling to until we have real tangible results in our hand. Until then, hope will have to suffice.
And then I cast Beacon of Hope.
Okay.
I don't. I don't.
Okay. So you guys, she sort of nods to you and then sort of heads over to speak with the librarian, asking about certain books, and like, you can tell that she's got a lot on her mind, but she's actually a very kind person, and that all of this is really not in her wheelhouse. She's just sort of trying to do the things that other people have always done. You know, you can almost see it. She acts like Saria a little bit. She's trying to take on that role, but it's unfamiliar to her, for lack of a better term.
Could do worse for a role model.
That's fair. But yeah, at that point, you come to the idea that she's giving you leave to do whatever it is that you wish to do. So you have a mostly ruined city to explore if you so desire, yeah. Where would you like to go? What would you like to do? What is your guys' plan at this point, if you have one?
Let's all grow wings and live here forever. Yay!
Yay!
He can have the material plane. It sucks.
Yeah. Fuck this shit.
It's got orcs.
Can we nuke the entire material plane? Let's do that.
I mean,
Can we summon
I think
Tarask?
That's what the other guys are doing.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're the ones that are trying to nuke.
Oh wait, no, that's it. That's exactly it. We'll become an evil campaign. We'll nuke the entire material plane, just like out of existence, and then all the other planes will prosper. Yay!
I am okay with that.
Then I'll go hunt orcs in the Feywild.
There will be no bad guys if the bad guy's realm is gone.
There'll be
It's
no bad
perfect.
guys. There's no bad guys if everyone's a bad guy.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this.
You're right.
sounding
It's
like
all
to me.
subjective.
And if everyone's special, then no one's special.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay.
Personally, I would like to ask the librarian for any information they have on Warforged, because I'm still really iffy about this not flame in my chest.
Right. Okay. She says that there may be a couple of odd documents pertaining to the idea of Warforged, but it was never something that was developed here, or in Dragon's Mouth. She does, however, go to a sort of a locked cabinet, right? It's a large cabinet. It's like almost one of those like display cases. Like it's probably about 6 foot tall, 4 feet wide,
Like a liquor cabinet.
made of a really strong reinforced wood with metal bands on it. Like it is pretty fucking secure. Opens it up and pulls out literally just a 2-page document written in Draconic, in what looks like somewhat messy handwriting, and hands it over to you and basically says, if you'd like to read this, you'll have to stay here at the desk. I'm not allowed to leave these out of my sight.
Just 2 pages, right?
It's just 2 pages.
Well, it won't take me too long.
That's what you think. Okay. So you sit down, start reading it. One, the handwriting is almost indecipherable. But I want it uses a lot of terminology. Some of it is like blacksmithing terms, and you're totally like, "Oh, I got that. I understand." You know what that's saying. A lot of it is arcane magic terms, and I need you to make me an Arcana check to figure out if you actually recognize half this. shit.
Nope! Wow!
Lucian, you're gonna try to help a little bit?
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
Or he can help me. So
Yeah.
I can get advantage on that.
Nope. It would be him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and Lucian look over it a little bit, and Lucian, you recognize some of the terms, but some of them are well outside of your schools of magic, your typical way of working with magic, being a war mage. This seems way more construction based. It's just not. I mean, you recognize some stuff for sure from just learning about magic in and of itself, and you know some of these spells and stuff, but like there's some stuff in here that is it's like having taken like high school or college physics and then looking at like Stephen Hawking's equations. Like it's you're looking at the work of a genius who has terrible handwriting and kind of writes everything in Cliff's notes. But there's on the back of one of the pages is a diagram of what looks like an arm, a metal, a metal built, almost prosthetic style arm. What you get out of this, right, is that the idea was to augment amputees with prosthetics. Mechanical or mechanico-magical prosthetics, and that there was a talk of it would need some kind of power source. There's no way to do this without some form of a power source. There was talk of using air crystals for it, but it just didn't really work. And there was talk of heat being a good a heat that could be regulated, that is, or magical heat, magical fire type stuff could be used relatively effectively as a power source in order to power this this mechanism. Refilling it was a problem, and it never really got off the ground. But some of the concept work is here. There's not a huge amount, other than it would have to be refilled. The power source would have to be refilled, at an absolute minimum once a week. More likely, more often than that, depending on the use. There's some at the very end. There's some like speculation, right? Like sort of like what scientists do, and then media takes way out of context and says, "Oh, scientists are saying we could do this." It's like, no, scientists are saying theoretically it's possible to do X. Thoughts of maybe making a set of like larger, almost like the Ripley's from Alien, the Constructobot thing that she drives around with the giant claws.
Yep.
Yeah, the exo.
Yeah, the exosuit. Basically, there's like some discussion of potentially doing, making something along those lines to help with heavy lifting and all. But again, that's sort of left as very theoretical and not entirely sure how a lot of the mechanics of that would work, etc. But that's basically what you get. Is, I mean, it's not much. It's, again, it wasn't pioneered here. It was just something that was thought up by someone. There's no signature on the page or anything like that. You don't recognize the handwriting either. It is very much, you would recognize like Sid's handwriting or something, but it's not anything like that.
This seems almost manic.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're seeing the stream of consciousness of somebody going
What if?
to where it's like there's a lot of little pieces that are constantly coming in about half the story, but it's there. There is some valuable information there, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just primarily looking at the recharge time.
Right. The thought was under my week is the maximum you could go without recharging it. The thought is under heavy use for like, there was sort of a throwaway line somewhere that, like the heavier use stuff, like heavy lifting constantly and stuff like that. Assuming, you could have multiple people use it and it could be used, basically around the clock. It'd have to be refilled every day.
All right, yeah. After I'm done with that, however long that takes, I'll thank the librarian and hand it back.
Roll me a d4.
Oh. Nope.
I don't see anything. Okay. It takes you 3 hours to read through all those.
Oh. Okay. I assume Taz already
The rest
walked
of
off.
you- Yeah, no, Taw's probably fucking gone.
Yep.
All right. Lucian, you were helping him out, and you probably would find this a little bit interesting considering, here want to mess with the shield golem. And you do get some interesting information, like some ideas right? On like you need a power source, you need, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really give you a huge like bonus or like anything like that. It's just maybe a few thoughts. I'll leave that at that, and you can do with it what you will. Ta, you see these two sit down and just start reading this thing, and about 20 minutes go by, and they are through, the first like what would be considered like the abstract on the paper, just the first paragraph, the thesis statement.
Wasn't it only like a few pages?
It's 2 pages front and back.
Oh.
So that'll give you an idea of how quickly.
I'm just gonna start laughing and walk out of the library.
All right. What do you want to do
Nerds.
for the remaining?
No,
few
more of
hours?
like it's only 2 fucking pages. Not nerds. He's fucking smart. Oh my god. Yeah, he'll probably go and I guess check on the ship. It's probably a ways
Okay.
off, but just go check on the ship.
Actually, weirdly, it's not. You guys have spent about an hour, maybe 2 hours total, in the palace and doing all and talking and all.
Mhm.
As you exit, because the palace is at 23, you guys kind of landed over here. You see your ship. It is currently being rolled up that street so that it can
It's
be
like a
rolled
fucking
out that
Macy's
way.
Day Parade.
Yeah,
That's great.
And you can see that there's actually been this this wooden structure built around it, and it's sort of in a U shape, with wheels on it. So, and you can see probably a good 30 to 50 people pushing it down the street.
All right, I'll go help push.
Okay. That's going to take you a solid hour and a half to
Yeah,
get it
that's fine.
over there, if not more. So, about the time that
Flex on him.
that Gad and Lucian finish up their their work on the 2-page paper, Ta, you managed to set the ship down right about over there.
right.
That's where it's going to stay for now. I'll actually go and grab a marker for it too, because why not? But yeah, so that's where it's gonna be for now. Let me do this.
The tree heart's still in it, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the tree heart out of that,
Okay.
and then I'll just take that with me. Cause
Okay.
wait, no, hang on, cause that's not on this island, is it? The forest. That's on
No.
the material
Nope.
plane. Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
that's
I'll
on the
leave it in
material plane.
I'll leave it in the ship then. Never mind.
Okay. Works. So, at this point, Gad and Lucian, you exit out of the palace, head down the steps, and look around, and Ta is nowhere to be seen. Your ship is also nowhere to be seen, which could be a good thing.
I left.
I'm gonna ask the
Yeah, Ta
guards.
fucked off with the ship. He just tied himself to the big air crystal and took off.
That would be
As
awesome.
a jetpack.
I don't think it would work that way, but probably
Just
wouldn't
flap
work.
my
the way you'd
arms really
want.
hard with the air crystal.
Yes, that's. it
No, you
totally
still
works
got- you
that
I've,
way.
still-
I've got another air crystal too I could use.
You
You
still
do
got
have a smaller one, yes.
you still got 3 tents, right?
What's that?
We have at least 2 tents.
Use them to
Yes.
make like makeshift wings. Like a
Oh yeah,
paraglider.
yeah. You did in fact use one tent as a parachute at
Yeah.
one point. That
Yeah,
was
it
pretty great.
wouldn't work great as a paraglider. Normal
No.
parachute, kind of.
But a
Hey, it's
tent?
Busty.
No. Well, yeah.
No, I mean Busty's actually watching.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Everybody's dead except for Ta. He wins.
Yeah, everybody died in the
I mean, there
Feywild.
was
This is
the
all
point
just
of
your
that.
dream sequence.
Yes, this is the death throes right now.
Like we're like 3 layers deep, like Inception style. This is really slow right now.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So, what would you guys like to do, Lucian? And I'm just going to assume that you want to try to find Ta at some point.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
like
eventually.
Well, after I get the airship dropped off, I would have headed back to see if they were done with their 2-page fucking paper.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be heading back. They, it basically as it kind of happened at about the same time. So, Yeah, you would be able to head back as they sort of reach the bottom of the stairs. They haven't seen you yet, but you're now, kind of over by 21 or whatever, heading
All
back
right.
towards the city proper, that is.
And where's the tavern that they said they were going to put us up at?
The tavern is here at, I believe, 3, the Dragon's Lair,
Oh, okay.
which is it's a pretty well-to-do tavern most of the time. It's now kind of in a rundown neighborhood, but that's because the entire city's kind of run down at the moment. But you notice that there is, it's still pretty well kept considering. You're not entirely sure why, from the outside anyway.
All right.
Rest of you guys, I'm assuming you guys are at this point. Yes.
Yeah, and I'd probably ask if anybody knows a good blacksmith, because might need to hit the forge soon.
Biggs is in town usually. He set up his franchise in town of Biggs Blacksmithing. So it's a potential good place to go. But at this point, you're actually seeing the sun. You're not seeing the sun. You're just seeing the light drop very, very quickly. Over the course of about 20 minutes, the light has dropped down to, dusk, like after the sun is down from high in the sky.
Like, is it dark as shit, or is it like
No, it's sort of like the dusk light, where the sun is over the horizon,
It's
but
getting
there's still
kinda
light
dark
being
purple.
cast. Yeah, well, no, I mean it's past sunset lighting, but it was 20 minutes ago, sun high in the sky.
Alright.
However, you guys head down towards the Dragon's Lair, which you notice, like I said, is there. You can still see some physical damage, right, from the attack earlier to the entire city. All of like the tapestries and the signs and the windows are immaculate still, for whatever reason.
Dandies.
Probably prestidigitation, to be fair. But as you guys enter and you sort of wiry human, long hair pulled back in a ponytail. His hair's, sort of like this blondish color. And he looks up to you and says, "Oh, welcome to the Dragon's Lair. What can I do for you?"
We are going to be staying here. I don't know if anybody was sent yet, but we're being put up by the
Crown.
yeah. No.
And your names are? And you can see him sort of like look large ledger.
Might be in there as the nameless, or I don't think they know all of our individual names. What with you two new guys?
You're
Either the nameless or Ta. Look into those.
He looks around and says, "Ah, yes, nameless, including Ta and 2 others." for the
Plus
moment.
2.
Well, it's actually +3 because
oh, okay, right.
Verdith would be with you. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Speaking
see,
of which, where is that
he looks
scoundrel?
there and says, "Yes, I have 2 rooms here, and here you." And he sort of reaches behind him to, the old style keys in boxes. They're like the big keys with like the ribbons on them.
Mm-hmm.
And pulls them out and sets them on the table. There's 4 keys total, 2 to each room. And I says, "If there's anything else that you'll be requiring, feel free to just inquire, and I'm happy to make it happen if I can."
All right. Thank you.
Obviously, do be careful. After dark, trolls tend to get a bit more, I suppose, strict.
Sure thing.
Very well. Well, if there's nothing else, many, many tablecloths to clean.
After the day we've had, guard patrols are literally the least worrying thing.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
How many rooms are we grabbing?
2 rooms.
2.
Okay.
All right, I'm just heading to my room.
Okay. You take one of the keys, head up to your room. It's actually a pretty nice room. You know, everything seems to be clean and orderly. There are 2 beds with what look like 2 sort of dressers, or like the what am I thinking of? Uh, they oh, they have doors, like panel doors, on either side, and you can sort of open them up, and there's you know, like places to put your shit. There's 2 in the middle of the room so that it separates each of the beds. So there's like sort of like a makeshift wall out of these. Um, area, like I said, sort of open up dressers. I don't know what the fuck the word is because it's there, but it's gone. And yeah, I mean, it's comfortable enough. You got a little, you know, bedside table and a chair, and yeah.
All right, I go to bed.
Yeah, I just look towards
Okay.
Lucian. I guess we're sharing. And I take the key and then go up to the room. I just go into
For
rest
which?
mode, like right next to the door.
Okay. Do what you want to do. That works. And I'm guessing, Lucian, you're probably gonna follow suit, or?
Yep.
All right. So, and Verdith joins one of you in one of the rooms. Doesn't really fucking matter at this point. But he's had quite a bit of a day, like you guys, and goes to sleep as well.
Probably never seen shit this wild.
So you guys do get the benefits of a long rest. You recover half your used hit dice, or sorry, half of your total hit dice. And we're gonna take a 5-minute break here, just so I can go and get something to eat, because Saber talking about hot dogs made me really hungry, and I need something in my stomach. It wasn't so much that as him just talking about food. Thank you for that, by the way.
I
And
need
yes,
yummy.
this is the oldest game in the book. I know. It's just talk about food and it'll make Raven hungry.
I need
get
yummy in my
that.
tummy.
But it fucking worked again. So I'm gonna go get some food. It'll pick up here, and I'll let you guys, you know, if you have a thing that you guys want to do in general. I will say, by the end of the night, you do get to receive a letter that says that the ship, well, a lot of the components are still perfectly functional, right? Your shower still works, weirdly. It's about one of the only things that still works. But you know, most of the components other than the rear air crystal are fine, but the ship itself is maybe not unsalvageable, but it would be the equivalent of totaled. The frame is, I mean, thoroughly battered. The spine, well, it's not broken, would require so much shoring up and support, you know, structures added as to be easier to just rebuild the frame. So I'm gonna let you guys figure out what you're doing, and yeah, I'll be back in 5.
Oh boy. Fire up the player's handbook real quick. Man, it seems like it's been forever since I've looked at the player's handbook.
Yep.
Okay, so. Hey, Tanaka.
Yep.
What are you feeling for your next character?
I have no idea.
I think I might go, Warlock. Maybe even multi-class into a rogue.
And Rogue's fun.
Yeah, I kind of want to get that, like, that, that, like, bonus sneak attack damage.
Oh, it's fucking handy.
And if you crit, oh my god, double all the dice.
Yep. That's what Birdie did.
Yep. Then he left.
Yep.
With all of the shit he literally just bought.
Uh huh.
I lost the character. I couldn't remember, how to play him. It kind of pissed me off.
It's alright. I'm not real salty about it. A little bit about the items, but no, I get it. Like, I've been thinking about it too.
Yeah, there's a couple times that immovable rod would have come in handy.
Or infinite rope.
Like
Yep.
when Ta was falling off the thing.
Just pull out an immovable rod and activate it midair and do a dead stop.
Sure.
Yep.
You could totally do that. You'd have to make a strength save to make sure you don't rip your arms out of their sockets, but yeah.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
I love the fact we almost killed Birdie's new character, like, 6 episodes in. Man, that would be a real big insult to injury.
I mean, you've died twice, so how do you feel?
I mean, technically I've died a lot more than that. No, I'd like... Dying really sucks. Like, there's some stuff about the character that you don't really think about until, like, after they're dead. And you're like, oh, wait, but, like, this thing totally, like, wouldn't have gotten wrapped up, and, like, I never got to really get into this. Yeah, I was a little angry nobody helped me with the Mind Flayer, though. Nobody on the party.
I had to get the giant off the other dude, so
No,
that was
like, you were busy, that's why I went to go intercept the Mind Flayer, but nobody helped me. Even after I got stunned, nobody hit him.
They were all squishy, man.
No, they didn't have to get close. All they needed to do is just hit him a couple times. Get him to let go. Seriously, man, ability checks are what kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the point. In a way.
Fucking knock me instantly unconscious, suck my brain out.
I'm back.
All right.
Oh
So-
yeah, Ryman, before we get started, Busty
Yeah.
said to tell
Yeah, I
you
saw
that
that.
he wants to do the thing, which is totally not cryptic at all.
Well, no, I know what he's talking about. All right. Well, so for the moment, you guys managed to get a decent rest in. You wake up. It's already light outside. You guys have slept for quite a while, considering. You kind of get the idea that it's probably technically morning, but I mean, it's already like noon light outside for some reason. So, but yeah, you wake up, you're well rested, you're alive, you made it through the craziness, and yeah, on to the next adventure sort of thing. Anything in particular you guys want to do this morning? I will say when you wake up, you can smell, like a breakfast sort of restaurant sort of smell coming from downstairs.
You guys can eat. I don't need to.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, is Todd gonna just not eat?
Well, he usually eats on his own.
Yeah, that's fair. But there is good food coming, smell coming from downstairs.
Does Todd do that thing
Lucian
where like
rushes downstairs.
Okay.
characters that wear helmets all the
Lucian,
time
as
eat
you
through?
as you run downstairs,
Fuck
you
you, I mean.
see one, what looks like almost like a continental breakfast of really, really well prepared food. It's not really like a continental breakfast, like a buffet or whatever. It's laid out that way, but it's actually good food. But you also see there are quite a few people here, Marines that look like they just got off of work. And I don't think you recognize this individual, but you do see this individual. Sitting around a table with a couple of other Marines, sort of talking like they know each other pretty well, is a large human, about Taw's size, well muscled, wearing a single, what looks to you like a manacle, just the metal part, or without the chains or anything like that, around his left wrist, speaking to, uh, in lively morning conversation with several Marines
It's what's his
around his table.
face.
Okay.
But you sort of rush up to the buffet, and it's good food. You're pretty happy
I
with
pile that
that.
shit on the plate.
Okay, yeah. You come
Like,
back.
mile high, motherfucker.
You come back. The food is stacked up almost a foot high, and sit down at a table. A barmaid who you've not seen before, was obviously not working the night before, comes up to you and says, "Oh, is there anything you'd like to drink? I see you're making use of
What
the
you got?
food." A little bit of everything. We have various juices, plenty of ales and wines.
Ale.
Okay, I'll make it happen. She goes off to behind the bar and pours an ale and comes back out, sets a large stein of ale next to the food. Meanwhile,
Heaven.
yeah, so you're in heaven, food heaven at the
Finally
moment.
good food.
Yes, and it really is good food. I mean, you can kind of tell that it's sort of just whatever they had on hand, but whoever was cooking did a phenomenal job with, sort of a whatever I've got sort of deal.
Yeah, I guess I'll head down. I'll look for like a nice sturdy bench instead of like a chair.
Okay, yeah. There are booths and everything set up, and I just assumed that Lucian would have gone for the booth. I don't know why.
Sure.
But
Sounds good.
it doesn't really matter. Yeah, no, there's some areas, sort of off in a corner or whatever. You come downstairs, you see Lucian off in one of the corner booths, just scarfing down a ridiculous amount of food.
Is that normal for elves?
No, it's really not. Elves usually eat like a little bit, but Lucian is currently consuming he's working on getting to his own body weight in food right now.
Yeah, I'll just like sit down like across from him.
All right. The barmaid also comes up to you and asks you if there's anything.
You should get
Huh?
some. Oh wait, that's right.
I'll just turn my head like, no, thank you.
All right. And Ta?
I'm good.
Okay. So you're just up in the room for now, or?
Well, not like I would have grabbed some food and like gone up to the room or whatever.
Okay. So as
But I
you
don't need
come,
anything extra.
yeah, as you come downstairs, you see the same figure. You recognize him very, very quickly as Barter. the guy who you guys saved, and also who saved Corellian in the Three Sisters, speaking with some other Marines. He doesn't recognize you as his back is actually turned to you and turned to the buffet table, I guess you could say. But you gather up your
So
food and
Lucian
yeah.
wouldn't have recognized him then.
No,
No,
Lucian.
that's Three Sisters stuff.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Birdie might recognize him though.
Birdie would have, yeah.
Oh wait.
He would have.
But Birdie's
He
dead
won't
now.
anymore. As far as anyone knows, yeah. Well,
As far as anyone knows, that doesn't mean he is.
It's like Schrodinger's cat. Except it's
Yep.
Tanaka's Birdie.
That was good.
That
was
is good. That was good. All right. So yeah, but yeah, you recognize Barter as he's chatting with some Marines. If you want to do anything with that, that's up to you. But yeah. I mean, you gather out some food, and it's well cooked, well prepared. It's very good food.
All right.
Okay. So as I assume you finish your food, Lucian's still eating because it's just so much fucking food.
Yep.
And probably I'm assuming come back down to sort of gather up everybody. Verdith has also joined you guys at the table, or the group downstairs at the table, with his own, I mean, healthy portion of food himself. It's not quite to Lucian standards at this moment, but it's still, I mean, it's a fair amount. He
elf.
also has a sign of ale, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell Lucian, for an elf, you sure eat like a dwarf.
You take that back.
I just gesture at his plate.
Shut up. Take that back now.
It's true.
I will fireball your ass.
It might only recharge him.
Yeah, I'll just lean I'll just put like a fist against my chin.
Okay. So in that case, you guys Ty, you meet up with them as they're sort of trying to finish up their meals, for the most part, and you guys are getting ready to head out. If there's anything you guys want to do, feel free. Other than scarf down ridiculous amounts of food.
I mean, shit. I don't know. What do we want to do? I want to see if we can obviously get the ship fixed, or new ship, or transfer components, or whatever. Which we'd probably have to go to the island for with the Skydock, and otherwise, like, get artifacts and build an army, or like those are our options, kind of.
I mean, if we're gonna head out to do that, we're probably gonna need an extra pair of hands at least. And can I roll an insight check on the very large jovial human?
Sure. What are you looking for?
Just like get a read on his person.
As far as you can tell, he seems pretty laid back. Looking a little closer, you notice that left hand, it's not like bloody or anything like that, but like you can definitely see some scratches and some fresh wounds that have been sort of bandaged up as best that they can be. It seems like he was in a fight relatively recently, but he seems to be on really good terms with these Marines, and is talking, laughing about whatever they're talking about. But yeah, I mean, it seems like he's just a really big, but sort of like, he seems like the gentle giant type for the most part. However, his fists might dissuade you from gentle all the time.
All right, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So at this point, Lucian will say you and Meredith finish up your food as well. You guys can choose your next place to go. You have an entire city, but there are some things that you want to go to, probably.
Guess I'll go find the others.
What others?
We're all here. We
Oh.
are,
Yeah,
we are
they're all
assembled.
sitting there waiting for
Yeah.
you to finish your fucking food.
Make a con save.
No, I'm not gonna do that to him.
Oh,
That
Okay.
comes later.
oh, that's evil. I do want to ask, do any of you know a good blacksmith in town?
Yep.
Need some repairs?
Whatever you guys did to bring me back, I may need to go do that again. The paper yesterday, after reading it, I may, with the activity that I've been doing, I may need a recharge either tomorrow or today to be safe.
So you're just like firebolts into your chest, right?
Sure, but supervised
Okay.
by a blacksmith.
You want to do that here? Or...
Not in the tavern.
You
We could do
wanna
it
get the word
outside.
out?
Yeah, we can go out in the street. It'd be fun.
Start what looks like a fight in the middle of the street in a war-torn city.
Yeah.
That'll go well.
Yeah, right after a Yuan-ti and Drow invasion. Good luck with that.
All right, come on. I'll take him to Biggs.
Okay. So you guys head out to the as you're headed out, as you head out, Ty, you recognize Barter. He doesn't recognize you at the moment. He seems too wrapped up in conversation, though.
All right.
But
Looks like he's enjoyed himself.
meanwhile, you guys head down to the market area, and you see the familiar battle axe sign of Biggs's establishment. There seems to be a thick column of black smoke coming up, as usual, and head inside, where you see Biggs diligently working on what looks like not so much weapons, which is usually what he's doing, but it looks like he's making some sort of semi-mechanical or like an I-beam or some kind of construction component.
Hey, Biggs, I brought you a present.
He turns around and goes, "The hell are you doing here?"
Well, we had to kind of save the material plane by letting the material plane get destroyed. And now we're
It doesn't much sound like saving it.
it's a long story.
Fair enough.
But look, I brought you a present. I'm going to gesture towards Gad.
He looks over.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get a pretty penny for him.
Actually, funny story. I could have sold him for scrap, and I almost did it.
I know. It was great. But
that was after your horrible day in the Feywild.
Yep.
Yep. But
I did meet him before, right? I think last time I was in the city, I remember like spending time like doing stuff.
yeah, I don't think you met Biggs. You didn't have a reason to. I think you were doing something else. I don't remember what it was. But Biggs sort of looks over at you and says, "Well, you said a gift. I can put him to work."
You could just you can open him up, have fun. He's like a research thing you could play around with.
Yeah.
I suppose. He walks up to you, Gad. He doesn't really realize that you're sentient at this point, and begins attempting to open up your chest to sort of figure out how the hell you work.
Before he does that, I do want to like stick my hand out and say, or do a dwarven greeting. I don't know like what dwarves will do, but like do a dwarven greeting of like in dwarvish. Hello,
Right.
friend. I am
And at
Galadriel
that point, he
Plate
turns
Guard.
back to you. It's a very odd-looking protocol thing.
Yeah, it just keeps saying that over and over again. I don't know what it means, so just ignore it and go ahead and just crack in.
Oh, all right. And then he does.
I will make sure to stop him.
How?
I just kind of push him away gently and explain why I'm here.
He just, as you push him away, he looks really confused for a minute and then turns back to Utah and goes, I thought you said, what?
Yeah, no, go ahead. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, now I'm gonna have you make a deception check. Because now he's on to, okay, this is weird.
Wow, that's actually not bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Oh god, no.
He follows along. He sort of steps back a little more cautiously, or steps towards Gad a little more cautiously, sort of looking around and just sort of eyeing the thing up and trying to figure out, okay, how does this work?
I'll
this
ask
point.
him in Dwarvish, do you understand Dwarvish?
He just absentmindedly says yes, not really realizing who's talking to him at the moment. And if nothing else, like he'll step back up slowly. Various runes and like how the plates fit together, and begins reaching a hand up towards sort of like the center but lower part of the chest on you, Gad.
This time I won't stop him, but I will tell him I'm from Thunderforge and something happened in the Feywild and I lost my Flame of Moradin and Moradin, and I need a recharge.
Are you saying that in Dwarvish?
Yes.
He sort of nods along for a second, and his hand gets to like this little clasp that sort of lets the chest open to expose that flame, right? And then he stops for a second and looks up at you at just the tail end of the sentence and goes, "You're pretty sophisticated." Turns back to Utah. Who made this thing?
I don't know. We just found it.
Huh.
And I'll say again
Wow.
to him in Dwarvish, my creator is Kuvrik Plate Guard of Thunderforge.
It might have been a beholder if that makes you feel any better.
He turns back to Utah and goes, "Pretty sure it wasn't a beholder."
Well, that's where we found him.
Okay. Well, he says he's from Thunderforge. It's a place I know of, but I don't recognize the name of this.
Yeah, but he says that all the time. He's like, "I am from Thunderforge. I must avenge my father." It's like one of those like kids' toys you see sometimes. It's fine.
God damn it.
God, love your charisma. It's great.
Oh. Okay.
Charisma 0.
He just sort of like nods, kind of, but he's really confused at this point. This sort of kid's toy thing you say is not.
We don't know what he is.
Clicking.
That's
with him.
actually honest.
Yeah, no.
No,
That's
I
fair.
did tell you guys I was.
Yeah, Todd wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Todd
Figures.
doesn't do the paying attention thing. Okay. So he
And
he reaches
Lucian's
up.
just having too much fun.
Yeah. He flips the clasp and the two chest plates on either side where the pectorals would be sort of flip open, and then a piece sort of drops down across that goes up through the abdomen to just under those plates. And in the center, you can see this sort of sphere. So it looks like a glass sphere, but inside is a flame burning. It's it seems to be, maybe like a quarter full at the bottom, right? The bottom quarter is actually has flame in it. The rest of it seems to be air.
I'll take a knee so he has better access, but also like move a little bit further into the smithy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys are inside the doors at least, and it's mostly open to try to like let in some of the air because it gets fucking hot. There's not really a door per se. It's sort of like a sliding wall almost.
Yeah, I just want to be away from like more public eye, like facing
That's
inside. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So you sort of angle yourself as best you can, and he looks at it and says, "This is something I've never seen before. This is odd. Um, okay. It needs a recharge. Why are you here with me? I don't do magic really. I mean,
He just said he
fair.
wanted to see a blacksmith, so here we are.
Oh, he said that? How would he know that he needs
He's got a
black-
switch where like you can switch in between common and there's like a question mark on the other one, and I wanted to see what that was, and now I can't get him to go back to common.
All right.
So if you could fix that one, actually, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll switch back to common and just say I trust Ta's judgment in finding.
Holy
a good
shit, you
blacksmith.
did it! All right, cool, good
Oh,
job, good
crap.
job, baby. We can go.
We can go.
And then I'll
So
ask
for
again
500
in
gold.
common. Can you help me?
If I knew how to help you, I guess I would. But I'm not sure I know exactly what it is that you need help with.
Well, last time we just set him on fire in a forge and it worked, but there's that. It was me and some kid. I don't know.
Well, I can certainly melt him.
That might work. We got him pretty hot last time. If we get him hotter, he might be fine for longer. And that
Let's
makes
try it.
sense.
I mean, sure. You just sort of get this look. He doesn't know what the hell's going on in the. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and close everything back up. Just say maybe we should look for Sid.
I mean, I don't know that Sid knows anything about this or for like airships.
How
but-
are you gonna disrespect this nice gentleman? You're saying he's not capable enough to help you?
He
That's just
obviously
mean.
doesn't know about how to recharge me.
mean.
Besides
I
that
take offense to this,
small
good
elven
sir.
child from was it Riverwood? No.
Oh, you would rather see an elf? Jeez, I didn't know you were that racist. Why are you racist
boy.
against dwarves?
this is gonna go nowhere. But okay, yeah, sure, why
I
not?
know.
I'll
Yeah,
I'll
so-
just pin Lucian with the look and I can just like not say anything to him.
Okay.
It's like, I can't believe it.
Okay, so what are we doing here? It's nice to see you again, Ta, and considering the last couple days here, it's good to know at least somebody's doing well. But I'm very confused as to why you're here.
Wait, do we have stuff to sell? Hang on, let me look. Mostly it was because he wanted to come here, but let me see if we have some stuff to sell real quick.
My apologies, good
No,
Smith.
not
I
really.
thought you would be able to help me with this issue, but
Well, again, if what you want is to be lit on fire, that is
That's why I'm
something I can do.
I wanted to see that. That's why I'm here. He just wanted to see you. I wanted to see that.
Okay. Well,
I guess I'm getting hurt. I fucking leave my shield and my warhammer off to the side. It's like, all right,
No, do whatever is good. He said you need magic, which means he knows that you need magic. Setting you on fire is just going to melt you. Which, as much as I would love to, do you need scrap metal? Actually, that would work really well. If we set you on fire, you'll probably die, and then I gotta get you scrap metal, and then we get money for it. So go ahead.
what process did that Elvin Smith use? Besides, was it a magical forge?
We threw you in a forge, and we pumped it up real hot. That's
Yep. That was pretty much it. As far as you guys know, especially, yeah. As far as, he didn't seem to have any extra stuff going on. I mean, that was essentially what happened.
Okay, I'll let you know if I need you to stop. I cast Unseen Servant, and just
Okay.
tell Top, if you feel a tug on your belt, stop. And I just and I ask the blacksmith. I don't want to call him Biggs.
His name's Biggs, so.
Yeah. Just tell him. Well, it seems to be the only way to do it. So. Seems like it works.
Did you listen to anything Biggs just said?
What was that?
I'm asking again if you listened to anything Biggs just said. He
Yes.
said you need some kind of magic. Look, if you want to set yourself on
Yeah.
fire, I'm not going to stop you. But you
He
need some
didn't
sort of magic.
say. He said he's not. But he doesn't really know what is supposed to happen, so he's trying to figure out what you guys are doing, like what he's supposed to be helping with.
I'm mostly trying to save Biggs from having to do like 2 hours of pumping the fucking thing.
That's fair. Well, no, I mean he's probably gonna get you to pump the
Yeah,
thing.
or me.
Yeah. I'm just saying is all.
All right, let's do
Bye.
this.
All right, yeah. So Biggs sort of just lets you jump into the fire, basically.
Don't you have wood
And
inside of you too? I thought you said you had wood inside of you at one point.
not really. It's
Not
mostly
so much anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
But
yeah, I have the unseen servant ready to like tug as hard as he can on Ta's belt.
Okay. Sure. So as all this starts to happen, let's see here. Yeah, so you're in the center of the forge essentially. And it's a large forge. It's large enough that you kind of have to like lean over to make sure that like the center of your chest is actually there. But you're essentially just in the forge for the most part. It's not as big as the one that the kid was using. But yeah, so Ta, you're on the bellows, just going nuts. Biggs is stoking coals. Anything else you guys want to do to improve heat?
I'm gonna cast Firebolt
Repeatedly at yourself. Okay.
into like the forge area to like bring the temperature up.
Okay. Ta,
Yeah, I'll do the
or,
same.
Me too.
okay,
Same,
so
same
we
thing
have,
as last time.
everybody's firebolting the shit out of.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah. It's,
More damage.
so
Yes.
yeah, so about an hour goes by, and I mean it's just constant, right? It becomes almost routine, and it's exhausting. But do you? I assume you would have popped the
Yeah,
thing
I would
open
pop the thing. I
to
was
do
gonna
that.
keep an eye on it.
Okay. All right. But about an hour goes by. Everybody's kind of you're pretty physically exhausted because this is an hour of very very hard labor nonstop, and it's sweltering hot. Like it is so incredibly hot in here. And your fire resist helps, Ta, but not everybody has that. And it doesn't help that much at the end. But at the end of all of this, you know,
Yeah, I'm
um,
just having tug real hard as soon as I see like.
yeah, yeah, you kind of get a feel like you're full again, I guess you could say. It's almost like just having eaten a lot. You know, it feels like you almost have a full stomach in a weird way, but you would never have really known that. So, but to relate it, but yeah, you kind of get a feel like, all right, I think this is done, and step back. Um, and before you close the chest plates up, you see that there is now where that orb was once, like maybe a quarter full of flame. It is now filled with a roiling, almost angry fire.
Yes.
And he melts.
Yes. And then your foot is all no, somehow. No, but yeah, so that's sort of where you guys are at this point. And you're I mean, you're alive, you feel recharged, you seem recharged, and Biggs is still confused as fuck. But he also gets a quick glimpse at sort of the interior of the chest and he's like, oh, I guess, sure. It's about as good as he's got at this point.
Once we're done, I'm just gonna say, yeah, that's the last time I'm doing that. That fucking sucks.
Thank you for your help in keeping me running.
Sure, that'll be 500 gold.
I'm not sure you have 500
I
gold.
don't, and I'm not sure if he's serious or not. Can I roll insight
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
sure, you can roll insight.
just to see how full of shit he is?
That would be what, persuasion or deception?
I don't
to you.
know. I guess it'd be deception.
No,
guess
I
if
that
it's
was either one of
but-
those is what I
And
meant.
can
Yeah,
I
it'd be
help
one of those.
Todd to give him an advantage?
How are you? Sure. Tell me how you're gonna do that.
Gonna go along with it.
Oh, it
No.
doesn't matter. They're both
Okay.
zero.
What do you say? I'm not. I'm not gonna. You got to convince me.
Would have been a natural 20.
Oh,
All
never
right.
mind.
No, it's fine. You just owe me a life debt.
I mean, yeah,
Twice.
I did try to
Three
keep you
times.
alive throughout
Twice.
that entire flight with the weird black angel lady.
That's true. So you paid off one life debt. One life.
Only 4 more to go.
I did pick him up like 4 times in one of our fights during the fucking escape from the Beholder Caves. At the tail end of it, you went down like 4 times.
Yeah, I don't remember. That's something like that.
There's something nuts like
But
that.
yeah,
All right,
who's really
so-
keeping tallies? He's not.
So, you guys then, I mean, Biggs is just like, all right, well, that was weird. Give me a heads up if you need to do anything like that exactly again, because I'd like to be finished with whatever projects that I'm working on so that I have the forge open properly.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to be doing that. So,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's fair. That's fair. But is there anything else I can help you out with?
I think that's it for me.
Nothing to
Unless,
sell.
Gad, you have something? We don't really have anything to sell.
Yeah, we haven't picked up anything, huh? We haven't been murder hobos for a while.
Yeah, been nice. On my end, anyway. But yeah, so I guess you guys. Biggs is gonna just look over at you though, Ta, and say, "Hey, can I borrow you for a minute?"
Sure.
And sort of steps over to, just a little ways away, and says to you, "So, I understand you've been around a lot of places recently, like further than we ever went.
Yep.
if you ever run into, well, I'm not sure what it is exactly. Maybe a poison or something like that, or a disease, or some kind of sickness that puts someone into a coma, really, more than anything else. Paralysis look, Sarah's sick. I don't know exactly what happened, but our house was attacked. Well, this forge, our house is upstairs, was attacked when the Yuan-Ti attacked, and one of them got to Sarah, and now she's in a hospital bed and unresponsive. I was wondering if you'd heard anything or seen anything. Maybe you can help. I don't know, but you know, I'd like her back if that's possible.
I've seen stuff similar to that, but not exactly that, I don't think. What didn't the Yuan-Ti poison somebody? No, we
Yes.
Yeah.
wait.
Out
yeah?
of character,
I'm
yes.
trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember out of character.
Out of character, yes, and I believe that Bramnik has the formula for it.
Right. Great. Who's in the material plane? Probably dead.
No, we don't know.
He's probably in the forest with the Tree Father.
Sure, yeah, in the material plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Going back to the material plane is gonna be a little bit tricky for a while, and
Yep.
well, I think it'll probably always be tricky.
Did he confer with anybody else here when he had that made up?
Yeah, there was one other person who knew about it. Didn't necessarily know the exact mixture, but knew the basics. And that would be
Zuzia.
Zuzia, who is also on the material plane currently,
Great.
as far as you know, anyway. Yeah,
Fantastic.
and then the only other person is Aurora, who, well, you're not sure where she is.
Hmm.
Well, we did leave her over in Elderwood. Or Elderrest, there we go. That's what that place was called.
Aurora was in Kyokrati.
Oh, she?
So also dead.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Most likely.
Well, yeah, we've seen something like that from the Yuan-Ti specifically, which is, if I had to guess, probably where she might have gotten that from. Problem is, everybody who knows anything about it is on the material plane, and we can't go there for a while because our ship is pretty fucked.
I see. Well, just if you see anything, if you come up with any idea, just can you, at least for my own peace of mind, tell me that you'll help if you see anything.
Yeah, of course. I'd
Thanks.
sooner have her around than you, so why not?
Fair enough. I'd sooner have her around than me too.
I know.
Well, if you need anything done, work keeps me busy, and I need that. So,
All right.
and you can kind of see him sort of give you a sad smile, and step back to his forge and continue working on a lot of metal that he seems to be turning into components for construction, which seems, is pretty different to what he's done before, at least that you've seen. It's usually weapons and armor, but it seems like he's just trying to find something to do.
Well, hey, if you want to take apart an airship, that might be what happens soon, because most of the components for ours are good. It's just the whole ship is screwed.
I'm not sure I'm much of a woodworker, but well, if you need metal plating or something, or metal joints or whatever, I mean, I'm happy to do it.
I'll
I
let
mean,
you know.
you're gonna have to pay me, but
Obviously.
you know.
Hey, would you like and I look at Gad like fucking automaton thing, the metal man that walks and talks on his own? That
He
isn't
sort
me.
of like looks at
That
over.
that is
He looks over Gad for a minute, and he just, and then you can just sort of see his brain go back to the thing that you you guys just had to do. He goes, more trouble than he's worth. He goes back to
yeah,
what he's working on.
yeah. You know, that's honestly how I feel too. All right,
Oh.
well, let's go.
All right. So, you guys head on out. At this point, sort of, there are still plenty of, I guess you could call them civilian cleanup crews and patrols around, but there are people actually going out. You can see people like with grocery bags and things like that, just trying to rebuild life. But it seems like it's a less busy city than it used to be, but it's still pretty busy. But yeah. So, where would you like to go? I know you guys have
Palace.
so
Because,
there's Mira and yeah.
yeah, Princess Mira did say mid-morning.
Okay. So you guys head up to the palace. This time the guards let you pass. It's not the same kid that was there before, but it was one of the other guards that you saw.
Darn.
And he lets you guys through, no problem. You head up to the library to meet with Mira, and as you come in, you see that there's been a lot of work done in the library. Like it's a lot cleaner, or less cluttered and disorganized, but it's still a work in progress. And the librarian sort of, you can see her in the back sorting through books, trying to figure out where they go, trying to get everything put in its proper place again. A few minutes later, Mira walks down and with what looks like it's just like a giant armful of random parchments and books and papers and stuff, and just sort of like lays them out on the or just drops them on the table, and they sort of go skidding across, as those sorts of things are wont to do. And looks to you and says, hope you had a good, or well, a decent, I guess, night. I know I was up late, but hopefully it wasn't the case for you,
Nope.
considering Ta literally fell asleep 5 seconds after he got.
What the fuck else was there to do?
Yeah, there's
True.
other things you can always do other stuff. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I would like to go around town murdering everyone.
I mean, you could do that if you wanted to. That's literally the entirety of my Tuesday game. So,
Yep. That's fun.
it's terrible.
Awesome.
The inn was
But-
very restful, thank you.
Yes. Well, so I have figured out a few things. And, well, I guess the first question is, are you looking to actually go to the island of Haida?
Well, we need an airship to get around this plane, also back to the material one. So, yeah, probably.
All right. Well then, here's what we know. It's been a while since we visited the island itself, but it is typically about 3 days' journey from where we are, we believe. It's a little hard to get your bearings here, fortunately. However, it seems it's a little ways away. They've apparently recently had some issue with fires in their forests, which is not ideal. People tend to be a little bit insular in general, but I'm worried if that will change things,
What
make it harder.
creatures are there? Like, what's the species that has the air dock?
Well, there are quite a few humans. Uh, I believe that there's a family of tieflings actually that run most of the area, sort of in a magistrate type role. They've been there for quite some time, and I believe that there's a large sort of conclave, I suppose, in a way, or a group of core as well. That's about. I mean, they're the odd, elf and dragonborn, but seems to be most of it.
Oh, I thought it'd be more different here.
Well, this close to each plane has a part that's closer and further from the material plane. The closer you are to the material plane, the more like the material it is. The further,
Alright.
the more like it is, more like the element it is. So if you fly far enough from the material plane, well, you'll not find anything but air. Um, and strong air, strong winds and storms and things like that. But yes, the closer areas you'll find floating out times, and this is one of them. Again, Haida Island, and like I said, they were maybe I'm not sure that they were the pioneers, but they've certainly perfected quite a bit in the way of building and maintaining airships. So having their expertise in this situation would be extremely useful. Um, like I said, by normal airship, it's supposedly only 3 days' journey away. However, we don't really have any normal airships at the moment. What I can do is we do have a few extra skiffs. They're not comfortable, but they are much faster and get you there and back in decent time if need be.
I thought they were pretty short range.
Well, typically yes. In the material plane, they are. They can only fly for a day or two most of the time without having to land and recharge. But on the elemental plane of air, things are different. These crystals don't run out of power nearly as easily.
Oh, nice.
So, assuming you fly there, and it should only take you the better part of a day to do so, as they are much faster than our typical warships. Um, assuming you land it once you get there, you should have no problem, with flying back or anywhere else for that matter. However, I won't lie, um, it's not a very large space, and I would not suggest. I would, if you wish to stop it or even hover, I would typically recommend against it. They're really meant to be flying in a direction. That's how they work.
Sure.
So if you would like to take a rest, you'll have to find a place to do so. Um, nevertheless, um, it's about the best we can do for the moment, and it should get you there. From there, it's really up to you. We won't really be able to help much from that point, at least not for a little while. Um, is there anything in particular you wish done with your ship?
Well, I'd love to have it repaired, but that's probably not feasible with how damaged it is. So I don't know if there's a way we could work on having another one and just use parts from that one, or if we should just scrap the whole thing for coin or what.
Well, my understanding from Sid, he took a short trip out there to take a look, and I recently got to talk to him late last night. He said that most of your components are in order, but the actual hull is the problem. It's technically repairable, but it would probably serve you better to get a new hull. Um, unfortunately, with how quickly we had to leave and in that situation, we are low on wood supply. We do know that there are forests on Haida Island that they use for shipbuilding. We're kind of hoping we can work a deal with them to allow us to use some of their stock.
Do you have a letter or something you want to send for trying to strike a deal?
Are we aware of any natural enemies they have?
Not that I know of. Not for enemies. But what I do know, or what I can do, because of the nature of this entire situation, and she pulls out this, sealed letter, right, with the dragon's mouth seal on it, specifically the seal of the king. So you know that this was at least in front of the king at some point. This is a letter authorizing you to make deals on behalf of Dragon's Mouth. Because of the volatile nature of everything at the moment, we need this to go through. Saria trusts you. King trusts you, at least as far as he knows, and that means I trust you, at least until you fuck up somehow. Please don't. Regardless, this letter authorizes you to make deals on behalf of Dragon's Mouth as if you were an emissary or one of the royals. Because we don't know what they want, because we don't know what they need or anything along those lines, rather than taking a letter saying we're willing to offer this in exchange for that, we feel it's better to give you the authorization to make the deal on our behalf.
All right.
However, before fully accepting a deal, get a hold of us somehow. I understand that one of your number can do that.
I want to look around because I don't.
I have sending.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So,
We still have sending stones, right?
to
Yeah, but
Soria,
they're-
yeah.
yeah,
but
they're
that
only to
doesn't
certain
probably-
people.
But the sending stones don't cross planes.
Also
So,
Damn.
yeah, I think that's about as far as I have. If you have any questions about the island, I may be here and there, but there's only so much we know. So if there's anything that you'd like to ask, I suppose now's the time.
Are you looking for just a few ships to be built, or are you trying to resupply the fleet, or what are you trying to do for the?
How long term?
Honestly, as long term as we can get at least till our built, we could almost do some of the work here if we had the timber, but we don't. And I have a feeling that that may be a jealously guarded resource here in the plane of air, but I don't actually know.
Are there
I'm not-
unoccupied islands with forests?
Supposedly somewhere, but they're very hard to find.
Do you
What Tara
have
said.
anybody who's more politically minded that you could spare?
What?
No, fortunately. Most of those sorts of well, anyone really are on the material plane currently and not available to us. It's the only reason I'm even asking if this would be an acceptable thing for you to do.
Yeah, we can do it.
All right. The skiff will be ready about an hour. Trying to outfit it with some creature comforts, so to speak, as I'm assuming this will take you some time, and I don't even know if there's an actual inn on the island. So we're trying to help out as best we can, but it's not going to be much. In the meantime, it will be here in the plaza in about an hour, from my understanding.
All right. It's still morning, right?
It's about mid-morning, getting into. It's getting close-ish to noon. So, like, for the purposes of this, it's like 10, right? And they're basically saying that by noon it'll be done. Hopefully,
Right.
a little sooner.
Gotcha.
So, if there's any, she also says, that they have had issues with fires, um, randomly, or they don't know who's been setting the fires. They don't know if it's a random thing. They don't know what the hell's going on with that, but it has made the place a little more defensive to outsiders recently.
We didn't start the fire.
Pretty much, yeah. But if there's any provisions you guys need for your journey, now's the time. Because you get the idea at this point that as soon as you leave, Dragon's Mouth won't be able to help you at all.
Right.
And I mean, nobody else really can either, considering they're all on a different plane of existence.
All right. Well, we could get some potions and rations and all that stuff. Actually, we have some rations left over.
Yeah.
And in an emergency, I could always create food and water.
If need
Oh,
be.
okay.
But yeah, if there's anything you want to pick up for your thing, now is probably the time to set that up.
Maybe we should get the shower.
Pull the shower out.
We'll have them break down the whole ship later, or it might go over to the island too.
We
We'll
could
have to negotiate that.
head over to the ship and just take the decanter of endless water with us.
True.
Because fire, water.
We can do firefighting from the skiff.
It doesn't produce that much water.
Oh.
It's not quite that extreme water amounts. It's
Well, I mean, if it's an endless supply, just like keep pouring it into buckets.
it's an endless supply, but it's not like it's a fire hydrant. It's like an endless supply of tap water.
Yeah.
It's not. Okay, yeah, but it's yeah.
Just fly over, turn it upside down, let her go.
For a really, really, really long time.
Yeah, by the time that it actually puts out the fire would have consumed whatever the fuck it was that was on fire. So.
Yeah, you need to stockpile a lot of water and then use it all at once.
Yeah.
And that's probably not a great idea on a skiff. Water's heavy, man.
Yep.
I want to go and find potions, but also like magical accessories.
Okay. There is a place that actually does both here in town. It's the Magic Emporium. So that would be 6 there. So it's kind of over here. And as you walk in, there is a young man. Well, not really a young man. Sort of middle-aged guy, working the counter. You can see like the place was definitely destroyed during the fight, but he's sort of like taken all the stuff that was on shelves and he's just sort of like put it up on top of like the ruined shelves as best he can, trying to like make something work. But yeah, as you walk in, he sort of looks up at you and then goes back to, it looks like cleaning some magical items from various bits of dirt and grime that have accrued on them during the last few days.
I'd like to walk up to some of the broken shelves and start to cast mending on them to fix the shelves.
Okay. It works on some of them. Some of them are
Just too large, yeah.
pieces, and some of them are just too big to really do that. But you can kind of, it helps certain areas for sure. And he notices that and sort of nods to you as in thanks.
I was wondering if you had any healing potions here. Also, anything that could allow a person to fly or maybe feather fall, but preferably fly.
I do have a few healing potions.
All right.
How's about some rope?
Well, this is more of a magic place. We do have a.
Like a magic rope.
I may have something. I'll have to look in the back, honestly, for that. It's an odd request. However, I do have a few potions. We can start there. He pulls out a small box, and inside you see 2 regular potions of healing and 1 greater potion of healing. And he sort of looks at you and kind of shrugs and says, "Well, after the fight, anyway, I had to give many of these to the Marines, so this is about what I have left."
All right. Well, let me see how much anything else might cost first before we go to those,
Sure.
because they can be expensive in bulk.
Aye. Well, let's see. For flying. Interesting. Well, not that interesting considering, I guess, where we're at now.
Yeah, might be a good idea to get some of those in your.
Yes, well, it
repertoire.
takes some time to make these sorts of things,
I
but
believe it.
let's see here. And he starts looking around. He pulls out a brooch with what looks like sort of like a gull wing or a dove wing on it. He pulls out a small ring, and let's see here. And he actually pulls out 2 potions. And he sort of looks at you and says, "About all I have that does anything that, matches your request."
Don't suppose you have any scrolls.
Unfortunately, I do not know.
Do you know where?
Isn't there a
might
Mages
be
Academy?
some?
Well, I would assume normally the Mages Academy, but my understanding is many spell scrolls were set up with combat magics. And that's normally what was used. And well,
Or how
again
about
during the
someplace
fight,
I can learn the fly spell?
you'd
that
have
would
to
be
speak
helpful.
to you would have to speak to Archmage Atreus or one of
Oh,
the people at
okay.
the colleges.
Okay, thank you.
But I do know. So here are the pieces that I have. The ring is a ring of Featherfall. I believe that fits your criteria. The brooch here is a little different. It and Tanaka might actually recognize this, but I don't know. But it well, try it. And he sort of pins it to your chest, Ta, and he just
Okay.
says, well, you see that shelf there, and you see one of them is broken, and then another shelf. They're about 10 feet away. He just says, jump between them, or jump, from where one is to the other.
Okay. I'll
So
do that.
as you jump, all of a sudden these sort of white wings pop out from your back, and you glide 2 more shelves down at like 30
Oh.
feet, landing no real issues. And he looks at you and says, it can do that for about 2 to 5 minutes depending, but yes, it's not exactly, doesn't really allow you to fly, but you can certainly glide.
How many times can you do that?
It's not so much a matter of how many times, it's how long. But you can do it for about 2 minutes.
Not times.
Like,
time.
Total. For
Yeah.
like a day, like 2 minutes a day?
A day, yes. It's really meant to be used in short bursts if need be, but
Well, that's
it
awesome.
seemed to fit your criteria, so I figured I'd add it. And these other 2 potions are, in fact, potions of fly. They're single use, and they only work on one person, but, well, you asked for fly, and this is about the best I can do right now, considering the short supply in the city.
All right. Lucian, you said you wanted to go see the magic
Archmage, yeah.
archmage. Yeah. How much is the brooch, and also the potions, the flying potions?
Right. Each flying potion is going to be 500.
Mm-hmm.
The brooch itself is going to be 300. And then going back to your health potions, it'll be PHP prices. So 50 and 100 gold.
Okay. Look this up here real quick.
So if you wanted it all, right, it'd basically be 1500. Or no, it'd be 1550.
No, I just want
Brooch,
okay,
one
so
potion, and then the rest healing.
brooch, one healing potion, and then one greater. So that'd be 450.
Okay. It'd be
Because it's 100 and then 50 for the two potions.
yeah.
And then 300 for the brooch.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
450. Okay. All right.
Are you interested in? I don't want to get rid of this. Because I'm already attuned to 3 things, so and I don't have anything because I pretty much just used the Iron Stone for fly. But if I could get fly, I'll tell you what. We might be back. I'll hand him all the money.
Okay.
I'll take the 3 things, and I'll say we might be back. But yeah, we'll see what happens at the Archmage, and then we may come back because I may have something to sell you, which you would probably like.
Fair enough. Well, I look forward to seeing you. Nevertheless, as you can see, my shop is still in disarray, so I'm going to get back to cleaning these things if I can. Thank you for your patronage, though. Good luck on, well, whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. And hey, now that you guys are here, you've got a prime market for flying type stuff.
Yes,
throwing that out there.
unfortunately, if I had known that market was opening up, I would have secured more items.
Fair
Fortunately,
point.
it's a little bit tricky with Luthadel quite literally out of reach.
You know what? I think somebody really needs to focus on like interdimensional travel. Like even just like quick little like boom into here, then immediately back. That'd be really good. Like pocket
Yeah, there
Kind of like
are-
the Uber realms.
There are
Okay.
some individuals that do things like that, but it is, well, they are typically magic users of very, very high power.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it is
Okay.
what it is.
I'm gonna I've grabbed the stuff and then I'm gonna just walk out, kind of like if we had something like that for the ship, just like muttering to myself.
All right.
Because we could totally go Battlestar Galactica, guys, with this.
Yep.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Just like into the fucking material plane and out of it.
Yep. You never know.
If we had the means to do it.
Gate spell.
Yes.
Oh what?
Gate spell or something.
Oh sure, yeah. What? I don't know. Whatever. Something.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know magic stuff.
yeah. So you have you head off to, I'm assuming, the academy for a little while. Coming in there, you see a bunch of younger scribes and the like. Archmage Atreus is not there. However, I will say, for the purposes of this, just to speed it up, so we're not doing a complete shopping episode.
Also, while we're walking, I'm gonna attune to the brooch.
Okay.
And attune from the Iron Stone.
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
take the Iron
I'll
Stone.
say you can do that, and while Lucian is arguing with people, as I'm sure he would be, it'll take him a little while to do all this stuff, so that's fine.
Is that actually a
you-
thing that I can search in the thing, or is it just
No.
wings for 2 minutes? Okay,
It's
that's fine.
wings for a total of 2 minutes a day, and it's sort of at will. But yeah, so and mind you, you can only glide. So
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah,
It's like a glider
Um,
pack.
Still be handy.
Yes,
yeah.
very.
basically it's it's fine.
But essentially, I'm in World's Drift right now. Is what
Yeah,
this
kind of.
fucking
Yeah,
Yep.
kind of. That's exactly what it does, basically. Yeah, I mean, this world is kind of like Worlds Adrift, honestly, in a weird way.
Mhm.
Just islands are a lot further apart. So you have, or at least from what you've seen, because you haven't seen another island at this point, just Dragon's Mouth.
True.
But Lucian, after talking with people, threatening to probably punch a few people in the face, and general, you know,
Shenaniganery.
yeah, I was gonna say hooliganery, basically.
Yeah.
You are offered a scroll of fly that you can copy down, and then you would need to then copy down with the proper inks and take the time and all that stuff, right? And that will cost.
I think I have those inks already.
It will cost 500 gold, same as the potion.
I'll look to top.
I'll hand him that. That's important. This means you
Okay.
would know it permanently, or would be a one-use
one-time
thing?
Yeah,
purchase.
so you could add it to his spell book, but then he
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's 150 gold worth of inks. Do you have that? To copy things into your spell book?
Yes.
Yeah, so just make sure you have the spell
Okay.
level, because it's a 3rd level spell.
Yep.
And then you need to spend 2 hours plus the ink per spell level, so 6 hours total.
You said it was
Just copy.
500, right?
500 gold. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So that is the situation, and at that point, you guys could head back towards the ship. Unless, Gad, do you have anything in particular you'd like to do?
Nope. I'm flat broke and I'm not going to spend any money. I got 40 gold.
Fair enough. Any other provisions that you guys want?
No.
Or
No,
want
I
to
mean,
raid from the ship? Just remember that in the bag of holding, you have shit that's on the ship as well that will not be available to you unless you take it physically
wait, what?
with you.
Like what?
No, we
I
don't.
think you do.
The only thing that would maybe be on the ship is like Alchemist Fire,
Oh,
which
did
there's only
you-
5 of that fit in there.
Did you
No.
guys ever? Okay, so Lucian now has the longsword of dragon slaying, or is that
That's still in the bag.
okay?
Actually, oh no, that was going to go to Exo, but he's not here. So
Yeah. The whip, great sword, javelins.
no, yeah, everything's in the bag. is in the
Okay,
bag.
yeah. There's that is
My 8 rations that nobody's
Yeah.
touched yet.
Well, those are
Oh,
now
right,
our
right. I
rations.
was thinking of there is stuff on the ship that is not
Yes, that is correct,
in the bag.
but not a lot.
I was thinking it backwards for some reason.
Is there stuff
Yeah.
on the ship? I don't see.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's like
there it is.
rations.
Yeah, it's
Rations
not
and anchor
much.
stakes. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be back for it anyway. So
Okay.
Anchor
So.
sticks.
Yeah, the javelins you guys use as anchors, it won't
mhm.
be great. But yeah, you get a map, or rather, when you get back to the palace, in the courtyard is a skiff. It kind of looks like a Halo Pelican, but instead of engines, it uses crystals.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
It has about a 20-foot by 10-foot interior area. A lot of that it seems to be taken up with equipment, unfortunately. So there's enough room that like you guys could lay down on the floor, but it would not be comfortable. There is, however, what looks like a small brazier for a fire to cook things, almost like a minor cooktop. There is some like jugs of water for you guys, and some other odds and ends. Some like extra bits and pieces to help with you ever need to jury rig something or whatever. There's also on the bottom of it, there's an anchor that is sort of attached to the bottom of the ship, and length of about a 50-foot chain that you could feasibly drop or throw or whatever you wanted to do, but it's there. And yeah, that's about it. There's also a folder, essentially, right? Or like a yeah, booklet, I guess you could say. And on it, there's a map of the island and sort of a general heading, right? There's a compass-like thing on the dash of this airship, but there's also a general heading and a map that looks like this of the island that you guys are of Haida Island, rather.
All right.
And so you can kind of see there's a dock, a small village, and this is you notice that this is pretty old. The island or the map itself. There are a few islands that sort of float around the main island, and this one here is supposed to have some kind of lighthouse on it, or watchtower, or something along the lines. If you look at the date, you notice that the map itself is from about
100 what?
100 years ago.
Okay.
So there's that.
And you said
And
it'd take about a day to get there.
about the better part of a day, yeah. It's a 3-day normal flight, but these little skiffs move a little over. I mean, your ship moved at like 12 miles an hour maximum with like a solid wind behind it. But like these little skiffs can move like 35. So it'll do it. You get the idea that it's going to do it in about 16 hours. But it's going to be a long flight, and it's probably a good thing that you and Verdith both can pilot, because 8 hours straight of flying like one of these things is going to be a little more taxing than regular.
Right. And it's like early afternoon at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's about, by the time you guys finish up everything, and about, I'd say 1.
Okay. So Lucian, to learn that spell, you need to be fairly stable, right? To take down all the notes or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So how about, since it's going to take us most of a day, rather than get there in the middle of the night, how about we leave in a few hours, however long it takes you to learn that, and I'll sleep.
6 hours.
Okay. How about we leave in 6 hours, and then I'll sleep, and then fly through the night, and then we'll get there in the daylight where it won't be as suspicious as a random ship arriving in the middle of the night.
No, that works.
Okay,
We actually have a plan.
that's a first.
It's a miracle.
Pretty sure that's actually a first. That was a good plan. Okay. So you guys set up. You head back to the inn, I assume, for a place to sleep. Lucian, there's a small desk that you can start working on copying everything down. Gad, anything in particular you would like to do?
One sending spell back home to
Okay.
see
All
if my creator's still alive.
You do get a response essentially saying, "Yes, I'm still alive. Stop bothering me. I'm working on something."
Your replacement.
That's okay.
that's basically what you get, at least. At
This is fine.
Yeah. As everything's on fire,
I do
fine,
have fire resist. It's good.
you know. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Sleep like 6 hours.
All right. Yeah. I mean, and that's enough. Technically, a long rest too. So
Yeah.
that'll help fight off any exhaustion or anything like that.
I'll follow suit as we're waiting.
Meredith will also follow suit with you, because, like, I'm assuming that you guys are probably going to trade off as you're going if need be,
Yeah, but
just for a
sleep.
couple minute breaks or whatever. But yeah, so think, for the purposes of this, part of me wants to send you guys on your way, and part of me wants to wait until Exo's back, and I don't really know what the right answer
We
is.
can
at the
wait.
moment.
It's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I have a meeting in 20 minutes anyway.
Yeah, that was the other thing is I don't really want to start up a whole
We
bunch
can
of stuff.
we can either head out, or if he wanted to get something, if he has money, I guess, because he's not going to pull from the funds.
Yeah.
Then
I think what we'll do is we'll say 6 hours goes by. It's about 7 or 8 at night, right? Businesses have shut down. It's the evening, and you guys are all gathering up um, at the plaza area with the airship. Sort of, Sid is spent an extra hour. So you got there at 7, and Sid is explaining how the thing works, how to
Yeah,
fly it, because
I
it's
was going to ask.
very different in certain ways and very similar in others.
Basically, fighter plane versus Zeppelin.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's exactly that's about right. So he sort of goes over the basics. It shows you, like he kind of goes into like, okay, and then if this happens, do this and that sort of.
Here's the emergency eject in case you need to leave the ship and everybody else behind. Parachutes are over there.
There's no parachutes. There's no
That's
fucking
why
point.
I got what I got. Yeah, there's nothing
There's
to land
no
on down there.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I fall off,
and they
I'll
were-
just, I don't
You'll
need food
become
water.
a missile.
There's
I
there's a
mean,
reason that we're waiting until he has fly.
Yep.
I did think about this.
So, yeah, I mean, he kind of gives that all of you just sort of basic crash course in how to handle these skiffs, not necessarily to pilot them, but how to deal, how to move around them safely, what the components are, so that if you guys run into a problem, you all know like the names of the individual pieces and kind of a generalized idea of how they work, so that you can actually be useful. Kind of walks you through all that stuff. Verdith would know a lot of this stuff, as I think he used to probably pilot these little ones, not so much the big ones comparatively. He would have more experience with the little ones, but yeah, and I think that's how we'll leave it off right before you leave, so that we can go from there. And I just got somebody at my door.
Okay, that's fine. This is just for
I'll
Kai.
be right back.
As we sort of all gather up to the airship or the skiff, Todd's going to almost begrudgingly pull his Ioun stone out of his pack, out of his belt pocket, whatever it is, pouch, and he's going to hand it to you, Gad. He's going to say, seems like you have some issues occasionally of not having spells ready or something. Take this stone, and then I'll give you all the descriptions for it too. But it could basically let you store, I think it's up to a 3rd level spell. Let me check. So that way you can use that at any point. Also, it like hovers around your head, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, because thank you. If with this I can probably store a Revivify spell.
Actually, you can just look it up. If you type in Ioun, Ioun stone, it'll show up for you. I'll paste what I have
Okay.
because it's a specific one. So
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Stone has an AC
Come
of
on.
24, 10 hit points, resistance to all damage.
So that's kind of the shorthand, which isn't really that shorthand, but it's shorter than the whole list. So
I'm looking at it.
that's
now.
the kind that it is.
Store up to 3. Okay.
So yeah, either like 3 level 1s or 1 level 3.
Or a level
kind
2
of-
and low, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because yeah, I used to use that with. Did you ever meet Nyx? Yeah, briefly you met Nyx. Nyx used to cast fly into that, and that might be useful for you if we have Lucian learning fly, but also if I have the wings, I can at least survive for a little while in a fall, or survive a fall if I do it right, and that will help me out. But we still have a way to fly as well. But in case you get separated or fall or whatever, then you can have whatever you want in there.
I could cast Revivify spell in there, but that would take 300 gold pieces worth of gold to cast, so that won't work. Thank you. I'll see what I can put into this, or keep it spare.
It's
for
useful in a
fly.
pinch. Yeah, it's useful in a pinch. So decide what you want to use it for, and then it's really good for that as a last resort. Because fly has come in very handy for me. But I also am a little more reckless than you, it would seem.
No, I'm yeah. Thank you.
Yep, don't die and lose it.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Well, I think it's a pretty good place.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens next week. But you guys at least have a map of
Hopefully
the
your
place
other
you're going.
guy
Helps
shows
to have
up.
a map. And part of the reason I wanted to end right here is because there's a possibility that we'll have one other player joining us.
Oh,
So this
Oh.
at least lets me add them.
No, I want to take off right now.
No, we're leaving. Marines, we are
Someone
leaving.
falls out of the sky onto the skiff.
I mean, I'd do that.
Somebody
that would be
dimension
funny.
doors right onto the skiff as we're
Oh,
leaving.
God, I'd fucking kick him off of it.
oh no.
Poof, poof.
Oh, what was that? Thunderous wave.
Yeah. Yes.
They're
Fucking
making another
Yanti.
RoboCop movie.
Are they really? By the way, if Zuzia
Yeah.
were to show up, and I talked to her, and she said that like she has work all this month too. So if she ever showed up again, Tom would be like right back at square one. Fucking people getting poisoned, the city got attacked, all that shit. Right back to she's a spy killer.
And you happen to just back out of the Feywild.
Let's see who was in this city first before all the Yanti got here. Oh,
Mhm.
that's right.
I wonder.
It'll be interesting. But yeah, I think you guys said some interesting. And I'm hoping the actual adventure will be good.
Yeah. We'll
Hopefully.
have to see how this new campaign style works out. Kind of excited.
Mm-hmm.
Worlds
Yeah.
Adrift.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's
I've definitely taken some inspiration.
Hopefully without the douchebag griefers.
it's
Well,
Aerold's
they're on the
Drift.
material plane right now. It's fine.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and for those of you who will be watching this later on YouTube, we will catch you next week.